And thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, Kelly.
Yeah, this is fun. I'm loving this because I'm getting to chat with all my favorite people and like hear what's been going on with you when you've done the program or whatever you've done with me. You've done all kinds of stuff and I love it. And so can I just ask you like straight up, what's been some of your, well, let me put it this way. Maybe this is a better way of asking you. What were some of the fitness challenges or health challenges you had going in? Before we started working together, and then if you don't mind sharing a few of those and then just telling everybody what's up.
Yeah, sure. I probably would say my number one issue was sore joints because one of my favorite activities, two favorite activities, walking and biking, were being impacted. I mean, I used to run, so I always blamed it on the running. So I thought, well, if I walk, then my knees won't bother me. But also just the biking, like if I biked for a long time, my knees would hurt. So I think I was getting a little afraid and I was sort of backing off, instead of, and I was trying diet, anti-inflammatory diet and things like that to address it, but not moving forward physically to try to address it, which I think was the big breakthrough with you, was like, hey, you don't have to just, change your diet. You can actually kind of work your way, exercise your way toward,
move your way
toward better joints. And that's been a game changer.
So yeah, that's awesome. And I'm glad you said that because I completely forgotten that. And it is so true because we're just taught, we are taught that if something hurts, stop.
Rest,
deer in the headlights, rest, go to the doctor, take the what do they call it, NSAID, what do you call those things, NSAIDs?
Oh yeah,
ibuprofen, right, whatever you're at, slam down a bunch of those and don't move. And it doesn't really work.
Well, and I had actually had surgery on a knee because of these same issues, and it was not a cure-all. So my knees, I like to compare them to each other because, of course, he wanted to do the second knee and I never did because if I was skiing or if I was, walking too much or, maybe I would squat down and strain a knee, it wasn't any better than the other one. It would still blow up like a cantaloupe and I'd be, icing it. So I was like, well, why would I do that again? I wanted
What a great question. We never asked that question, right? Oh, why should I do that? It didn't work so well the first time.
It's really nice to have two knees. You can compare the pre-op and the post-op to the non-op.
Right? Non-op. Well, good for you. Good for you. Anything else you had? I know that when you started, it was when, well, we're still in the whole COVID thing, but it was when that all started. And so there was probably some less ability to get out and exercise with other people and some of the things that you like to do. So anything changed there?
Well, I actually was not doing much with other people. I mean, I was walking with my sisters in the neighborhood. We have a trail that we walk. So I was continuing to do that. I had been going to a gym for spin classes and things, and I loved the spin class, but I wasn't going to do that for an hour with lots of heavy breathing and ceiling fans, flinging the terms around. I had tried. I knew I needed strength training, and
you didn't like that whole idea of weights.
Right. I had done the gym thing. My sister and I hired a personal trainer together, and it was a young man, and he hurt me. I hurt me because, I was trying to do everything he wanted me to do, and it was not really for my age group.
Well, not your gender, not your age. I mean, it's a whole different animal when you're a 21-year-old guy.
Right.
It's just different. Yeah.
And I can even get sore elbows, like from doing bicep curls or shoulder presses. So, I was really knowing I needed strength work and trying to get it just through yoga and through walking. which
Right.
wasn't enough. I love the balance and flexibility training you get with yoga, but I wasn't getting a lot of strength. Like I couldn't do a push-up, as you know.
Oh, right. That's exactly right.
Couldn't do an incline push-up.
Okay. Have you tried lately?
Yes, I can do 8
Awesome.
incline
Awesome.
push-ups. So
Awesome. Congratulations.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's, I mean, it's such a good thing to use as like a tracker, right?
Right.
Because you just see a change. And it's not like I tell you how to exercise, right?
No.
I mean, this is all about mindset, and it's really about, community and things like that. But I do know that you picked up one of the, I guess one of the fitness suggestions I made, and you've been doing a lot of, and I should say this because this is a really good program. It's called Fit Forever, right?
Yeah.
And I think that if you're someone who enjoys and is welcome to working out alone with a video, these guys and gals do an amazing job.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was the breakthrough to me, because and I actually set up a spare bedroom that had kind of been a junk room. I cleared it out and made it into a little workout room, and I have a yoga mat and a desk to put my iPad on to watch the video. But it was the program was tailored to my abilities. So, we started out probably beginner, and now I'm, getting into some intermediate level, but, with a lot of stretch bands, not stretch bands,
Yeah.
tubing with
Tubing. Yeah.
instead of free weights, which is where I think I tend to get bad form and, hurt an elbow or something. But I like it so much that I do it regularly. And so I am getting stronger, and
That's great.
and I can see the difference in my clothes and things, which wasn't a goal, but it is, tightening me up kind of.
Yeah. I mean, it's always fun. It's fun. I don't care. Like, people will be like, well, it's not about how you look. I say this all the time. It's not about how you look. But in the end, if you can put on the jeans and you feel cocky and good in them, why not?
Right.
Right.
Because you're going to put the jeans on anyway.
That's right. Exactly right. You're going to put them on anyway. You might as well like the way they look on you. And the fact that you're strong enough to do everything else that you want to do.
Right.
But, in addition to that, jumped in on the accountability groups that we've had and the community. And then I know some people on the podcast have heard that we did a trip. It was kind of a one-off, right? It was like, this wasn't something that we had planned, but I think everybody was having cabin fever and we just decided to train for it. So how'd that work for you, training for that and the accountability in the group and the community and everything?
That was a big deal, because having a goal like that and knowing that it had a deadline. It wasn't just, let's just generally try to get generally fit, or even just get stronger. But it was like, I'm going to be hiking long days, and I'm going to be carrying a pack, and I'm going to be traveling and heaving my own roller bag into the overhead bin.
Right.
And, and loving the group, because we could talk to each other about our challenges. We would talk to each other about gear. We had a text group that we just would text on. And some of us who lived close by, we were getting together and doing some hills and things, and, trying out our new hiking shoes on the hills and our poles. And it really did. Well, I met 6 women I didn't know and got to be good friends. And we, would share our progress and our setbacks and our challenges, and just help each other get through it. I think we were all maybe similarly fit and just got better together. And I was surprised that I had, had the stamina I had.
No, you did great. You did great. And if you are listening to the podcast and you're not in the Fit is Freedom experience, one of the things that we have is a whole training program in there for hiking. There's a whole training program for hiking. There's a whole training program for kayaking and biking and a couple of other things. And it really matters right? Like it matters. And it matters when you have people who are doing the same, like, even if you're not in the same city or the same country, even like for all my Aussies, they're nowhere near, they weren't going to come hike with us, but at the
Right.
same time, they could follow along
Mhm.
at their own leisure. Well, actually, there wasn't a lot of leisure involved, was there? But the other thing is too, and if you're listening and you're thinking, well, I don't have people to go on a trip with or blah, 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 pick something you can do. Like yesterday, like I signed up for something that I thought about doing forever, and I changed my rules. Like I've always wanted to run a 25K. Like that's my thing.
Wow.
But my body doesn't do well running. It just doesn't. And I decided that I was going to change my rules. And my rules are not that I have to run it. I just have to finish it fast. And I can walk really, really fast. So
Yes,
I
I
signed up for
know.
it. Right? Yeah, right. But when you sign up for something like that, then you've now given yourself that end goal, whether or not you've got, a group to go with. If you're in the group, like I'm going to use the group because I'll use it for accountability. I have 7 weeks to get in shape for this, or to get to the level I need to be, I guess is the right way of saying it, which is quicker. So, you can do it a lot of different ways, but I love doing it with like fun, cool women I like hanging out with.
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. So, well, you've had like you've had a lot of things that have changed. I
Yeah.
know that over the course of the last period of time that you've been working with me. And what are some of the results? Like, let me just ask you that. What are some of the results that you've gotten?
Well, I'm just stronger. I don't have as many joint issues. Um, they're just not a barrier. Let me put it that way.
I like that.
Right. I'm lifting weights when I didn't like to lift weights, but I'm not getting hurt. So, and I'm also just more proactive about finding things I want to do, active things. I mean, you are all about fun, active things outdoors. And so it's not really lifting weights in my spare bedroom. It's also just finding people to bike with, or, go try stand-up paddleboarding. And I did it. I'd been wanting to do it forever. And I actually was able to do it for a couple hours. And, just getting in the water and with a kayaking group, so, and one of the ladies on our trip was talking about an outdoor group that she just signed up to do a trip in Yosemite. I mean, she just went by herself into a group of strangers and did a several day or week long hiking and camping trip, which I just thought, and she's in her 50s.
Well, and what's cool about that is that I think one of the things that holds women back, and I'm just going to say it, women more than anything, is that we're always afraid that we're either not going to be able to keep up or we're going to hold the group back. Like it's just this, and it's really interesting. I mean, I interview people who are doing big deals, like, walking the Appalachian Trail by themselves and just doing all these things. And they're like, oh yeah, I was afraid I'd hold everyone back. And the reality is that when you start doing some of these things and you get the confidence, then that just kind of goes away, doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, and I also learned a lot about fueling myself for long, strenuous hikes. And, in the heat that we have in Houston, it wasn't as hot on our trip, but just, the electrolytes and the glucose emergency chews.
Right.
And, just having something before and something during and something after, so that you don't crash, which was what I would tend to do. I would tend to not eat. I'd have plenty of water, but I hadn't normally done the electrolytes in the water, that kind of thing. So, just being prepared.
Yeah, no, that's a good point, because if you do it, to do it. But if you've never done those things before, then it's good to have someone who says, yeah, well, you're going to get a bad headache if you don't drink that water and take your electrolytes or whatever it is, or it's just not good for you, actually.
Right.
So, Yeah, that's a great point.
Mhm.
Okay, so I know a lot of things have changed for the good. Are there any things that you'd just like to like point out? Because here I am, I'm all about hearing all the good today. So any of the things that you could point out, other like you've got your joints hurt less,
Mhm.
you're more active,
Mhm. I'm a
you're
lot stronger, and I mean that may be too general, but I mean I can get up and down off the floor without using a piece of furniture as an aid where I'm kind of heaving myself up with my arms.
right.
I'm using my legs and my core, which I never knew that your core was involved in getting you up off the floor, but it is.
Yeah, that's a
And
really good point. And if you don't see us on video, I mean, Anne is a very petite woman. I mean, and it's true that even small, it doesn't matter.
mm,
It's
mm,
if you're not used to getting up and down and you don't have that core strength, it's not so easy.
right. And I learned something about gluteal amnesia.
Lazy ass, huh?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that, but when I was in this assessment for the Fit Forever program, and they said to tighten your glutes, and if you can't feel them, you have gluteal amnesia, and you have to teach them how to fire again. And as somebody who works on a computer a lot and sits a lot, that was a problem. And so you use those muscles for getting up and down. And I'm learning to stand up without using my quads, and rather try, from a chair, try to use my rear end, to push
Yeah.
versus just and I mean, just try. It seems so silly because I'm really not crippled, but I would push myself out of a chair with my hands. And now I'm trying to get up hands free.
I mean, that's interesting because I hadn't really thought about that, but I guess it's an awareness, right?
Mhm.
It's just an awareness. And
Yeah.
maybe we lose awareness from sitting too long, from, doing all those things. And then we assume that that loss of awareness means that we can't move as well anymore, so we must be getting old. And that's like baloney.
Yeah. Well, and also my shoulders, holding my shoulders back. That was a big deal because I had often had people like massage therapists, when I'd be lying on my back, they'd be trying to push my shoulders down and stretch, or,
Right.
get the tightness out of this muscle here, which I don't know what that is, your collarbone muscle.
Yeah, kind of like the whole chest area.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I know it's your shoulder blade muscles that have to pull them
Yeah.
back. And that's been great because I was hunching more and more and more as these just kind of caved in. And when I realized it was pull your shoulder blades, I have just much better posture. So
Yeah, that's a
I
really
felt
good point, because that's another thing, is that we tend to think that it's normal
right.
to get older and hunch forward, and it's not like, I know people who are in their 80s and 90s and just like totally great. It's because they use their bodies.
Right.
So I guess that's part of this, right? It's like just getting aware of your body and just using it.
Yes. And
And
functional fitness, I think, is what is the buzzword about that, all that.
yeah,
Just, getting your hips to where they stay mobile and strong. And because, it's very aging when you're hunching, or your hips are sore and tight, and you start shuffling, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
anyway, none of that for me. Thank you very much.
No, 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 no shuffling. We have lots of playing to do in our world. So,
Exactly.
okay, if someone was thinking about joining us,
Mhm.
and we haven't really talked about what us is here, but I mean, everyone who listens, if you've heard this at all, you know that the Fit is Freedom experience is really, it's not just a course, it's group coaching, it's community, it's accountability, like it's all those things that kind of make a tribe in a lot of ways, and a tribe of people that you want to play with. you know
Mhm.
it's different. It's not just the dinner and drinks crowd, but so people who just want to get out and have some fun and do different things. So now that I've just given myself a commercial, if you were going to recommend this to a friend, what would you say to them?
I would just say that you probably don't know what you don't know. And, we all think we've tried lots of things. I mean, we've we have tried lots of things, lots
Yeah.
of different, health kicks is what my husband would call them. Oh, you're on another health kick. But I think this is probably the most well-rounded, really talking about fit being freedom, which is a whole other mindset. It's like, this is not just for, it's not just because we're told we should. It is freedom, and we're kind of responsible for ourselves in that. And so if you are wanting to take control of it for yourself and have a better, aging process, I guess, experience, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to be super active with my family and with my grandkids to be, and, just be doing active outdoor things that require kind of a full body fitness level that I've never had before. So
awesome. And I do love that you said it's freedom, because it is, right? Like, when we can do what we want to do, then we can do what we want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, if we have to, I mean, at my age, I have, I wouldn't call them friends really, but I mean, I know people my age who need help getting up or getting out of a car. That's not freedom. If you have to rely on somebody else to move you from one place to the other, that's not freedom. And, extra weight and all that on your joints is really debilitating. So, and your diet matters about that too. So I think one of the things that really launched me into permanent change was the sugar reset that we did in January.
Oh, right.
It's a great month to do it.
All right. It's an easy month to do it. We've already got all that, pushed behind us anyway.
I mean, eating all the things. And so that was a big pivotal moment for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
No, I mean, we had talked about this off camera, but it was about the idea of trying to do that in December is, you're just setting yourself up to lose. Like,
Right.
Let's set ourselves up to win with whatever it is that we want to do.
Right. But after having done that, even though I don't think many of us stayed, 100% sugar free, but after having done that, you have an awareness of how it can affect you. I mean, like waking up with a headache from eating candy in front of the TV. That's like, oh, wow, that is candy. That is that, red dye number 50.
Right.
So, that's awareness. So
it is. I mean, and I guess in a lot of ways, we're roughly the same age, and we grew up in a point where there wasn't a lot of knowledge about, like, I don't know, we got lost. We grew up in, my mother would serve TV dinners and, vegetables out of a can, and she was a working mom, right? And she was busy. And so we didn't have that whole awareness that you had before her and before us or now. So there's this learning process that a lot of us need to go to. And a lot of us are taught that the only way you're going to do these things that you need to do is, it's not how you eat, it's how much you eat. It's, you got to get the latest, I don't know, paleo, you got to get the latest keto, that drives me crazy. I hate deprivation. And the other thing is like the sugar thing. Most people are not sugar-free still, but that's because they're in maintenance mode. So it doesn't really matter. It's just, it's knowledge, right? And knowledge is always so much power. Yeah. Well, I had a ball with you guys, because every time I'd done the sugar thing myself before, it was just me, and it was a little brutal, I have to tell you. So having a whole group doing the same thing and sending wild texts about it, it was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny, and it was effective.
I grew up with a mother who thought that sweating was kind of not ladylike.
Right? Horses sweat, women glow.
Why would you deliberately go out and get sweaty? And why would you wear those awful shoes if you had a choice?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so there was some cultural thing. There were some cultural things to overcome.
True. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Yeah. That is so funny. And those shoes, I mean, they're good for you. They make
Yeah.
your feet happy on trails.
Couldn't have done it without.
Yes. Well, okay. First, thank you so much for being here. Thank you. And thank you for being a part of the group. You're a bright spot in everybody's life in the group, and we really appreciate that. And is there anything else you'd like to add before I let you go so that you can actually get back to work and quit sitting sitting on your butt, right?
I've got to stand up now, Kelly.
Yeah.
I would just say that, you are a very special person. And, for people who, think, oh, this might just be one more thing, and it's fun to try new things, but this is really, you are special, and you have passion about helping women be active. And that leads to fitness, and then fitness makes you want to be more active. And being active, finding people who are also interested in that is a big deal. There really aren't people in my life who want to do the things I want to do. There weren't before I met you and your group of people. So that just gives me courage that there are people out there who want to do things. And, there are, like you recommended, Facebook group and to hike and when I go to Colorado, that kind of thing. They're just resources. You have resources. You make things very individual. You give lots of resources and ideas, and you care and you follow up. Hey, I was thinking about you, what you said, and here's another resource you might try. So that's just very special.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for taking your time today to do this.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Okay.